My name is Sharon Fekete. I am 41 years old and I'm Irish American. I've been a step-family coach since October of 2011. I've also been a practice administrator for a pediatric practice for the last 8 years. The process of becoming a certified step-family coach is getting training from Jeanette Lofus, who is the founder and president of the Step Family Foundation in Manhattan. The study and topic of step family grabbed my interest because I fell in love with my now husband, Robert, who at the time had a 3-year-old son by the name of Cooper, who is now going to be 10 in 2 weeks. So I really had to learn quickly what it meant to be the girlfriend of a man that had a 3-year-old, because, you know, I had this long list of I'm never going to hook up with anybody that was ever married. I was never going to hook up with anybody that had a kid. So I had to learn really quick, on the fly. I am currently a member of a step family, a proud member of a step family. I am a stepmom to a wonderful, almost 10-year-old child. His name is Cooper Fekete, and I've been with him since he's 3. So I'm proud to say that I have been involved in a very successful step family only because I sought out help as to how to become a good stepmom. I read all the books, researched, and then finally became a certified step family coach. There was also a great deal of help being the administrator of a pediatric practice, because I got to see all of these very dysfunctional families around me that don't know what they're doing. Well, I have to say that most step families are unsuccessful because the parents are delusional. They seem to think that their egos are what's going to run this new blended family or separated family, and there's a lot of he said, she said, and there's certainly no truth. So everybody has a different story. There's not a great maturity level. I would say, though, that the children are the ones with the most maturity, and it just becomes a real problem because they don't understand that in the long run the children are the pieces of the puzzle that need to be focused on, not the parents. Remove your ego, focus on the kid. My initial strategic tactic to get these step families on board with the business model that we're introducing as a step family certified coach is to try my best to get them to forgive each other. If I can get them to forgive, then they can move on to becoming a successful co-parent, and the animosity and hatred that they have for each other will dissipate if they can learn to move on from whatever betrayal they have encountered during their divorce or breakup. The strangest situation I've had so far with coaching a step family was I had a couple that was about to merge their blended family. There was a father who had a young girl that was 11 and a mom that had a young girl that was 11 too. And they just assumed that they were going to love each other, and that wasn't working out. The kids hated each other, and boyfriend and girlfriend now were fighting. So they would each see me individually, and what I really wanted to tell Dad was, run! Because, you know, Mom was little, and really had high expectations of the kids just falling in love. And that's what happens with most parents that try to blend their kids together, is that they really have this fantasy of the kids just automatically loving each other because they're in love. So it's pretty unrealistic. Well, with this couple, I don't know if you would consider it successful because they did break up. I considered it successful because the two of them did not need to be together. So although I did not tell the father to run for his life, I did express my concern about the unrealistic expectations that Mom had of the two children getting along famously. So my strategy was to just be completely honest with both of them and then try to put the kids into a situation where they would get along in an uncomfortable circumstance. And my plan worked because they're no longer together. My strongest advice for the step family that's heading for disaster would be to absolutely separate the family. I think that the kids need to be away from mom and or dad or stepmom or stepdad, so I could sit down with them and find out what their issues are. there's something to be said about talking to a complete stranger that has their best interest at heart. And that's what I would do. I would just separate them and speak to them one-on-one, and then eventually bring them all together to discuss some of the issues that they probably never knew existed in the step family. I had a scenario with a dad and mom that had just recently broken up, and they were from another country. So there was a little bit of a dialect issue going on, but also some very different cultural views on the world. So dad really wanted this mom to follow their suggested religion, and when mom came over to America, she absolutely did not want to follow the traditional views of dad's current belief systems. So it caused a real rift in the family, and they eventually got divorced and now are in a current remaining custody battle with the child based upon their religious beliefs. That was absolutely the hardest one that I had to deal with, because there was a lot of money at stake that was going out to some attorneys, and the cultural differences were very difficult for me to absorb. My final diagnosis for this family was to just send them to their legal team, because truthfully, I do not mediate for these families. I leave that to the court-ordered mediators and their legal counsel. So I sent them packing on their way back to their attorney, where they were very happy to go. The future of the step family in the next 5 years is very hopeful for me in particular. As the administrator of this pediatric practice that I told you about, my physicians are going to be trained by Jeanette Lofus next week on how to become certified coaches. So it's promising in my world in Florida, and I'm hoping that this business model will move to other pediatric offices around the world, and this TV show will be an amazing tool to shine a light on what is really becoming an epidemic, because our children are suffering with anxiety, depression, acting out in school. They all have behavioral issues. So I've been able to see that firsthand as the administrator for this pediatric office, and also as a certified family coach. So I really have a very good outlook on what's to come for step families. Hopefully with this TV show that I will be hosting, it's going to shine a light on the step families of the world today that desperately need our help. I would obviously be a perfect candidate for this show because A, I am a stepmom, B, I'm a certified step family coach, and C, I'm a successful stepmom. I have a good relationship with my husband's ex, which brings a whole bunch of promise for Cooper. He is doing very well in school, principal's honor roll list for the last 5 years in a row. He's also a bright and happy child, and that's only because we put him first. If families could realize that if they put the children first, they too can have a successful step family. So I'm hoping and praying that you allow me the opportunity to do something that means so very much to my heart and my soul and my family. Well, I gotta tell you, my way is the only way, because I like to go on an angle from the heart to the heart. I believe that starting with asking the mom or asking the dad if they can find forgiveness in their heart, to forgive the other parent, to move on, to help the child. Because truthfully, it's like they have a stone right in their heart. I'd like to help them remove that stone. That's my approach. I start off by talking to them as a stepmom and kind of normalizing the situation for them, telling them that I understand, telling them that there's hope out there, telling them of my success as being a stepmom. I believe I'm the one. My approach is the only way, and let me tell you why. Because I'm a successful stepmom. I have a fantastic husband, a 10-year-old. What are you waiting for? Why am I... She's the best stepmother ever! I am, aren't I?
You are. You rock.
That was good.
At least his clothes were on.